Manchester United 2, Manchester City 1. Let me just say that again actually, because it's really fun. Manchester United 2, Manchester City 1. Oh, it feels good. Oh, it feels good. I think when you look at this game from the outside looking in, it might appear as though this was a smash and grab from Manchester United late on, with 2 late goals to win the game against the odds. But that wasn't the case. Manchester United controlled this game in possession and out of possession for 90 minutes. Ruben Amorim genuinely got the better of Pep Guardiola and deserved all 3 points from this game. And today I am going to tell you exactly why. But first of all, I feel like you guys need to subscribe to the channel, right? I want to hit 45,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We've got 1,000 to go. If you could help, it would be amazing because we're in a good mood because United were brilliant. So let's look at why. So we're going to start off by looking at United on the ball, but we are also going to cover the defensive side later in the video, so make sure you stay here for that because it really was very good. But anyway, Manchester United in possession were looking to play through the Manchester City press. It's what we try and do as much as possible under Ruben Amorim. And largely speaking, we were successful using 2 different methods. And the reason we were often quite successful is because of the way that Manchester City pressed. Normally City press in a 4-4-2 shape, but in this game, it was very often a front 3 pressing structure. I guess they were trying to go man for man with our 3 centre-backs. However, Manchester United used this in our own advantage. This was to our favour. You see, what would happen is we still had time in these deeper areas because we've got Andre Onana as the spare man, and we know he's a good ball-playing goalkeeper, he's confident on the ball in these deep areas. So we still had just enough time on the ball. The thing is though, we've actually got a lot of time on the ball if we then go a little bit wider to Diogo Dalot on the left hand side or also to Mazraoui on the right hand side. We had a lot of time to play this pass. Now granted, once we've played the pass, Matheus Nunes is eventually going to get there and apply pressure. But when it's a player like Mazraoui receiving the ball, when he's got the time to take a touch and get his head up, you know that he's going to be quite comfortable and he's going to be able to play from the back, and United did that really well, really effectively to move the ball forward. The other way we looked to play through the press was using the structure that we have used in recent weeks, where the centre-back goes into midfield and we look to move the ball to one side like so. Now what we're trying to do here is draw the opposition onto us, and particularly with our really narrow 2 players here, it draws the far side winger into the pitch like this, and it draws them over to one side. And again, in these moments, United technically showed some really good quality. The individuals were good. We're able to work the ball through these situations and then find a spare man on the far side. It's really good play. I've got some examples of both structures that I want to go through here. First of all, Manchester City pressing as the front 3. You can see they are, I think, trying to go man for man with our centre-backs. But Mazraoui just has so much time to receive this ball. So much time to receive the ball. Nunes, of course, is going to eventually press him. But like I said, when someone like Mazraoui has this amount of time to take a touch, get his head up and play forward, he's going to do it. He's a very good footballer. He moves the ball inside to Bruno Fernandes, and within 2 passes, Ahmad is 1 versus 1 up against the fullback. It's good for Manchester United playing through the press in this way. But there were also situations where we could do it on the other side of the pitch. You can see Lisandro Martinez plays towards the left-hand side, and we are going to draw Manchester City over to this area, particularly because we have really narrow midfielders here. You can see Doku even is drawn from the far side. Manchester City are trying to condense the pitch, but simply Manchester United, individually, technically, were too good for Manchester City, and we move the ball to the far side and again have time to move the ball forward down this side of the pitch. Once again, trying to draw Manchester City over. Doku coming really narrow to try and apply pressure, but Manchester United are good in the rondo. We keep the ball, we keep it ticking over, and eventually we are going to move the ball about and then finally find a spare man on the far side and again move the ball forward. It's really good play on the ball. Okay, so we've moved the ball through the first phase, through that first line of pressure. The question now is, can you be progressive and actually make use of that, move the ball forward through the pitch and eventually actually threaten the Manchester City goal? And in moments this was difficult for United. We've had this problem over the past few weeks. There are moments where we struggle to get the ball moving, particularly through the lines in the centre of the pitch. We are struggling still a little bit with the combinations in the centre. However, it's okay if for now we struggle in the centre when we can thrive out wide, particularly using our wide diamonds. I'm talking about the wide centre-back, the inside midfielder, the wing-back and the inside forward, and we have this on both sides of the pitch. Now the reason why this is so dangerous and potentially so effective is because most teams will only defend with 3 players on one side. Let's say Gvardiol is pinned by Rasmus Højlund, City only have the left-back, the midfielder and the winger in this area. So again, United have the overload. Ruben Amorim is giving Manchester United more players than the opposition in these areas. It makes life so much easier for the players in these situations. They can get their head up, they can take a touch, they can work the ball. And again, the effect of this is that Manchester City eventually have to get players over to this side of the pitch to try and close you down, to try and kind of apply some pressure to the ball. What's going to happen then? Eventually, we can get the ball and move it to the space on the far side, and this is when we can then speed up, be aggressive, and get the ball into the final third. Now, when I'm talking about the diamond shape, it is these four players here, the centre-back, the wing-back, the midfielder, and the inside forward. And what we can see is that in certain moments, like in situations like this, we can simply outnumber the opposition. Let me move myself out of the way. City only have 3 players here, but Manchester United have 4 in our diamond shape, and it means you can find a spare man. This time it's Mazraoui. How do you find him? A simple combination in the middle of the pitch. De Ligt into Bruno Fernandes, out wide to Mazraoui. It allows you to overload the opposition, and then what we need to do is somehow get the ball over to that far side because there is a lot of room for Diogo Dalot to attack. Now on this occasion it gets a little bit stuck in the middle of the pitch, but eventually we work the ball out there. Dalot is 1 versus 1. And he's in a position where he can deliver, he can cross into the box, he might look to take Kyle Walker on. This is a really good position to be in. Now, unfortunately, Dalot currently is struggling a little bit with that final work, that work in the final third, creating a chance. But in terms of tactically, positionally, we are getting into great areas. We are controlling these situations. Again, in a situation like this, Manchester United simply have too many players. You'll notice the player there, he's just off screen. The diamond shape is very much in play here. Mazraoui has time on the ball. This time, Kobbie Mainoo is the free player. That's good news. And I tell you what, if Kobbie Mainoo can do this on a more regular basis, Ruben Amorim will love him. Switching the play with the long pass to the far side. And again, Diogo Dalot is in a really good position. Manchester United are getting into great areas. And this is where I talk about United controlling the game on the ball. This wasn't about sitting deep and just transitioning. Manchester United genuinely got their foot on the ball and tried to progress through the lines, round the lines, and were effective in doing so. Was the final third work perfect? No. We need work in those areas. But when you've got players like Sandro Martinez, who was phenomenal this game on the ball. It looked like Sandro Martinez was back, right? His progressive work was absolutely phenomenal. Statistics back it up. He was amazing. And when you've got a player like him, you do have an ability in moments to unlock a team. And of course, we eventually saw that for one of the goals. Now, I'm almost not too fussed about the goals today, because I think the general performance was so good that these moments, I don't know, didn't grab my attention just as much. But I tell you what, in terms of quality, it's amazing. Kobbie Mainoo drags Gvardiol out of position. Sandro Martinez, that ball is an absolute joke. And the play from Ahmad, unbelievable. Unbelievable. I just had to mention that, because the 2 goals are fantastic from Manchester United. They are fantastic. The way to win the penalty and then score this goal as well. But honestly, what impressed me just as much, if not more, was the general play. We controlled this game away at the Etihad. Now, I used the word control a few times there, and something that I was going on about all last season was that to truly control a football match, you have to be able to do it out of possession. You have to control where the ball is going, even when you don't have it. And Manchester United did exactly that, using the high press from the back 5 formation. Manchester United, in moments, were really aggressive from the structure. You see, what we would do is get the 2 inside forwards, often coming inside onto the centre-backs. And Rasmus Højlund would either sit on the pivot, or actually, at times, push even higher onto Ederson, an aggressive press. Now, you might look at these wide areas and think we have a bit of a problem. Ederson can clip that ball out to Matheus Nunes, and he can move the ball forward. This is a problem that Manchester United have had over the past few seasons. The opposition just moved the ball forward far too easily in these situations. But not in this game, because Ruben Amorim was brave and willing to connect his wing back to the press. Mazraoui stepping further forward. Now, what happens here is Manchester United still have the extra defender at the back, because quite simply, Dalot on the far side can just tuck round. We can be aggressive wherever the ball is, but still have cover at the back. So for example, City might go the other way, to the right hand side. Dalot's now going to be more aggressive. We're going to shift across over like so, and still have the spare man at the back. But the important thing is we are being aggressive. We are applying pressure high up the pitch to stop Manchester City just progressing the ball easily. And of course, we've got examples of this. Here, the 2 inside forwards narrow on the 2 centre-backs, but the space is clearly out wide for Ederson to try and find. But no, Mazraoui is right there. This is aggressive play from the back 5 formation. In a situation like this, Nunes on this occasion actually has a bit too much time on the ball for my liking. But because he is right-footed playing on the left, he wants to go back inside the pitch. And it just gives Mazraoui this time to squeeze higher into these positions. And again, force Manchester City to play backwards. This was the key. We didn't necessarily have the ball at the time, but we were still controlling where the ball was going. We were forcing City to play backwards, and it really stifled the way that they progressed the ball. Now, what some of you may be thinking is, why is it this game that we choose to go for the high press? We haven't necessarily always done it under Ruben Amorim and under Erik ten Hag or Ruud van Nistelrooy. Why was it this game why we chose to go with the high press? Well, I tell you what, do me a favour. Do some matchups over the pitch here and assess the physicality of the players on the show. So let's push, just for this, Mazraoui a little bit further forward. Now, when you press high, what the opposition are very often going to do is try and play over you. So they draw you onto them, like so. You know, they've drawn Bruno, Højlund, Ahmad, the wingbacks, whoever, really high up the pitch. What teams like to do is then go over the top and they look to play past you. And this is a problem that United have had over the past few seasons. We struggle with winning this ball. But just look at the matchups in this game. Ugarte versus De Bruyne. Ugarte is more than capable of competing aerially in that duel. Kobbie Mainoo against Phil Foden. Kobbie Mainoo's going to win that battle. Lisandro Martinez against Bernardo Silva. Lich is going to win it. De Ligt against Doku. De Ligt's going to win it. Harry Maguire against Erling Haaland. Maguire completely dominated this battle. So not only were Manchester United pressing well, when City tried to go over the press, we controlled this ball as well. And also, we often controlled the second ball. And I think the tone was set 10 seconds into the game. Manchester City go long, and Harry Maguire was right there, dominating Erling Haaland, and it happened for the rest of the game. Again, Manchester United controlled these defensive situations even when we didn't have the ball. Now, despite the good pressing work and the good dueling in the middle of the pitch, Manchester City still had spells where they had the ball. Of course they did. They're Manchester City. They always have the ball, and they are very good with their technical ability. So they were always going to have spells where they had possession. But importantly, Manchester United didn't sit off in a low block. We didn't sit too deep and sacrifice any control on the game. Again, in these situations, we controlled where the ball was. We were aggressive from within our mid-block. Now, our mid-block was a slightly interesting shape. Bruno Fernandes, who was the left inside forward, actually often dropped a little bit deeper, and it resembled a bit more of a 5-3-2 shape like this. An interesting shape from Ruben Amorim. I think he learned from Sporting's victory against Manchester City in the Champions League about 2 months ago. I covered that game, and he used this shape in the second half, and it was really effective. Now, the reason it was so effective was because it stopped City's ability to play through the middle of the pitch. You can see we've got 5 players there as the core, but also 3 centre-backs as well. That's a lot of players. That's really difficult to play through. But also, we stopped the half-space spaces as well. And the reason we done this, or the way we were able to do this, I should say, was by using aggressive centre-backs. You see, it's easy in this situation for the ball to go to Kevin De Bruyne and for all our centre-backs to step off and try and mark the space, right? You know, we've got Erling Haaland attacking the box, De Bruyne's delivery. Let's drop off. Let's drop off into these positions, try and mark him and try and deal with that ball into the box. That is one method we could use, and it is an approach we've used in big games over the past 5 years or so. But not in this game, because in this match, as De Bruyne would receive that ball in the half space, that wasn't our cue to drop off and be more defensive and be more passive. It was the complete opposite. It was our cue for Lisandro Martinez in particular to actually be incredibly aggressive and jump from this position out of the block. So initially, we're compact, we're sitting slightly passive in the mid-block, but in the right moment, we were aggressive, we stepped forward, and we really assert ourselves onto the ball. And again, Lisandro Martinez, he looked back to his best in this game. Really good defensive work, stepping out onto Kevin De Bruyne and turning the ball out for a throw-in, or forcing Manchester City all the way back. And again, the key here is we may not have the ball, but we're still controlling where it goes. As the ball goes into De Bruyne here, Lich could have been passive. He could have been passive, but he doesn't want to be. He's aggressive. He's higher than our midfielders here. He is higher than our midfielders here, winning the ball back in these positions and forcing Manchester City all the way back to the goalkeeper. So we still controlled where the ball went. In a situation like this, there is space there. There is space there for Kevin De Bruyne, and this could be a problem. He is unbelievable in this area of the pitch. But Lisandro Martinez is willing to take a risk. He is willing to take a risk and be aggressive. Now, the reason I say it's a risk is because that space is there. If we don't get this right, Manchester City are in. But Ruben Amorim was bold, he was brave, and his players were exactly the same. Willing to jump out into these positions to win the ball back for Manchester United. And this is why, again, I say that Ruben Amorim coached this game and set us up really, really well. I've just seen I look very bright today, by the way. Sorry if it's been like that for the whole video. But regardless, Ruben Amorim set the team up really well. Manchester United executed the game plan really well. Was the final third work great? No. Were we a massive threat? No, but we delivered in the big individual moments, and the only reason we were able to do that was because we controlled so much of the match, both with and without the ball. And that, coupled with the fact that we won 2-1, is why this was such a good day for Manchester United and Ruben Amorim, in my opinion. But it's just my opinion. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. What did Ruben Amorim do well? What would you change about it? Who performed well? Who's your man of the match? Let me know all of that in the comments down below. But apart from that, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.